So I'm following a few accounts that are actually at the courthouse, the Collin County Courthouse, watching the Karmelo Anthony trial, and they are reporting live from what is going on in there because there is no live stream available of what's happening in the courtroom. One of the accounts I follow is JD Miles, and this is on X. JD Miles 11 is his name, and I want to share with you what he just posted because we've heard from some witnesses say that Karmelo was emotionless or calm when he was in the backseat of the patrol car, and this kind of refutes that. So I'm just going to read to you exactly what his post says. The defense asked the witness, "What did you see when you first noticed something was wrong?" Witness says, "I saw the arms go out. I see arms and make contact with Karmelo." The defense says, "Can you see how much contact is being made with Melo?" Witness says, "No, sir." Defense says, "What was that concerning to you at that point?" He says, "Yes." Defense says, "You weren't sure this was a fight, but you were concerned it could be a fight." Witness says, "I was running through all the possibilities of it, where this was a friend or not." I think it meant to say whether this was a friend or not. Defense says, "What did you think next?" Witness says, "It got super loud and people started standing up and were like, 'What happened?'" Defense, "So you did not see the stab or the moments before that?" Witness, "No." Defense, "Is Melo seated?" Witness, "No, sir." Defense, "What happened next?" Witness, "What I saw was Austin pulling up his shirt saying he got stabbed." Defense, "Do you see Melo at some point? What was he doing?" Witness, "Kind of a light jog to the right on the bleachers." Defense, "Did you see him when he stopped?" Witness, "He is crying and there with a coach kind of comforting him. I'd say distraught is the best way to describe." Defense, "Did it look like a put on?" Witness, "I'd say everything going on was very, very real." Defense, "Could you hear him crying?" "Yes, sir. I heard him saying I told him not to touch me." Defense, "How was he? Distraught?" Witness, "Yes, very distraught." Defense, "You didn't see large parts of what happened under the tent. Is that fair to say?" Witness, "Yes, sir." Then prosecutors cross-examine the witness and say, "You had a few things wrong when we talked back in April. Is that right?" Witness, "Yes, sir." Prosecution, "Your initial statement to police that you saw Karmelo Anthony surrounded, so it had to be after the stabbing?" Witness, "Yes." Prosecution, "You had a story in your head when we visited, correct?" Witness, "Yes." Prosecution, "And when you saw the video, your eyes were opened to what actually happened. Is that right?" Witness, "Yes." Prosecution, "My impression when we first met, you thought when you saw people surrounding Karmelo Anthony, it was before the stabbing." Witness, "Yes, sir." Prosecution, "That was actually after the stabbing." Witness, "I couldn't really tell." Prosecution, "When you and I met, you told me you thought it was before the stabbing." Witness, "I thought it was as the stabbing was happening." Prosecution, "You know you're wrong?" Witness, "Yes, sir." Prosecution shows the video showing the witness on surveillance video from the stadium that reveal that particular witness was on the field, not looking at the Memorial High School tent at the time of the stabbing. At the time the stabbing happened. So they ask, "Have you learned how your mind can play tricks on you?" Witness says, "Yes, sir." "You didn't have a knife on you?" Witness says, "No, sir." "Have you ever been under another team's tent?" Witness, "No, sir." "If you had been under another team's tent and they asked you to leave, would you?" "Yes, sir." And then on redirect, defense asked, "I think you described people in a U shape around Melo." And the witness said, "Yes, sir." So two things stand out to me. One being that Karmelo was obviously distraught after this happened, and maybe that shows some regret in what happened. But also that this particular witness was turned around and didn't actually see the stabbing and yet is testifying about the stabbing. And so it's just very interesting when you have these witnesses testifying to their memory and how your memory can play tricks on you.